channel, and in this video we are going to build a simple login system using PHP, MySql and Bootstrap as a style. So you will require XAMPP server and IDE. So XAMPP server is to run our project on our browser, and IDE is to write some code. So as I'm using Sublime Text, so you can use whatever you like, such as Node++, Visual Studio and anything. So I hope you guys have this basic idea. So XAMPP server, without XAMPP server we won't be able to run our program. So yeah, without delay, let's go and develop our small login system. So first of all, I'll like to start my server. So let's start it, and meanwhile we will work on our project. So let's minimize this. Let's go to our XAMPP server root folder, htdocs, and inside htdocs we will create new system folder. So this folder should be named login application. Okay, so this is our system folder. So we will open our system folder inside the Sublime Text. So let's go to the login application and bring it to the Sublime Text. So let's remove this. We don't need this anymore. So let's go to the browser, and we will get the Bootstrap link. So just Bootstrap. Okay, so go to the Bootstrap link, and inside the documentation, so you will get here CSS link. So just copy this link, okay, and we will paste it here. But first of all, we will generate a HTML page. So firstly we will name this page login.php. okay, so we will save this inside the, let's cancel this and let's create a new file, and new file should be called login system. Okay, now we are ready. So let's create a HTML page, and we will give a title login, and below the title tag we will paste our Bootstrap link. So this should be good to go. So let's minimize our code a little bit so that we can see more clearly. Okay, I'm sorry, what is happening here? Just close this. Okay, and Control A, Command minus. So this will let me little increase the size. So this is it, and okay, so now we're ready to develop our application. Before we work on our application, let's go to the database and create one database. So inside the our database list, we will create new database. So the database name would be login app. Inside this we will have 4 column. Okay, so we will have to firstly users, we will give our table name users, and this should be ID, and secondly should be username, and thirdly we will say email, and fourthly we will say password. So okay, our ID should be auto increment, and it should also work as a primary key, and name should be varchar, email should be varchar, and password should be varchar, and we will keep a size of let's say 100. This is just for the character size. Just save this. So our table is ready, and we will insert some data. So first of all, we don't need to enter the user ID. So we will say John Dev, and John will have email, and John's password is password for now. So we'll say Jack Black. Jack should have jackmail.com, and password should be secret. Okay, let's go and save these users. So if you go to browse, we will have these two users. So we are ready now, and let's go back to our project. Let's work on our login files. So first of all, I will create one div and class. I will give class container. So this is the Bootstrap class, and this should give us a container that we can put our stuff in. So nextly, I will also create a div having class row. So these are all Bootstrap classes. Okay, let's close the div. Inside row, I will have column. So I will have column of let's say Bootstrap columns. So I will have 6 grid column. Let's also close this div. So this is our basic container, and so inside this row class we will also define another class to align our login form at the center. So I will say justify content MD center. This should bring our container at the center. So inside the column, I will define one more class called card. So card is a basically container for our form. So inside the card, I will also define a class card header. So this should give us header to header, and inside the header I will say let's put on heading tag. So heading tag should have heading of let's say register. Okay, now we will create a card body class. So card body class, and inside this we will put our form. So let's go to the browser and check our system, and let's go to login page, and if you can see here our page is ready. So let's go back to the page, and we will give a header of header h3. So inside the card body we will create a form. So this form should lead us to the same page. So to go to the same page, we will say HTML special chars, and we will give a server global variable, and we will say PHP self. Okay, so this should redirect us to the same page, and method should be post. Okay, this is our form. So inside our form we will say we will define a class called form group. Okay, inside div group we will say I'm sorry, we will define a email, and we will create one input type. This should be text, and it will have name, email, and it should be required so that we will not leave this empty. So another field I will create is for password. So we will say password. So this should have type password, and the name should be password. So let's go back and check our form. So if I refresh it, so we're having these elements, but the styling is not there. So I will say class form control to have some design. So this is bootstrap class. Let's copy this and also paste inside the email. So let's go back and refresh again. As you can see, we have this beautiful form. So everything looks good, but so yeah, we have card body, card header, and we have this card. So okay, and now what we should have is we should have another a button. So let's copy this, paste it here inside the form group div. We will create one button. So button should have class, they should have class btn and btn success, and it should be btn medium and button block, and we will say login. Okay, they should also have name login. If I save it and go back to my form, so I'm having this little here button. So Okay, I think it's this much we need for our login page. And now we will say firstly we will also have one file. So this file should have should be okay, we will have database PHP. So inside this we will have our database connection. So let's go and define our connect to our database. So what should be server local, I'm sorry, server should be localhost and the username should be root. I should also have password, and password is empty for me. If you guys have password, then you can use password. So last one is our DB. So we will say login apps. Our database name is login app. And now I will create one connection. So this connection should have MySql connect. So inside MySql connect, I will use server, username, password, and DB. So this should give me a connection. So I'll check the connection. If connection is not there, and if the connection is not established, I will echo message failed to connect, and if else connected. Okay, connected to base. So we will echo this message. Let's go back to our login page and include the database page. Database.php. So if I go back to my login page, and if I refresh this, so connected to database. So we are successfully connected to database. So we can comment this, so we don't need to print every time we connect to database. So so let's check if our form is being submitted or not. So to check our form submission, we will use isSet method, and we will say post login. So if the form has been submitted, and we will say echo. Now we will var dump. We will check our post data. So let's check this. If I go back to my system, if I refresh it, and let's say check met.com, if we use password, if I log in, so here our form is being submitted. So this is just for checking. So let's go back to our system. Let's remove this line since we are getting our data. So I will say email, and I will save my email to variable email, and another is password. That password should be password from the post data. So now I will create one query. So this query should be should look for the username, user email, and password. So select all from users where email equals to provided email, and so and sorry, password equals to the after we create our query, so let's execute the query. So to execute the query, we will say result MySql SQLi, and we will say query, and we will give database connection here and SQL here. So after we check the result, we'll also use if condition here. So inside if condition, we will say MySQL and number of rows. They should have result here. If there is a user, then we will redirect our user to the home page. So to redirect, we will use header function, and inside header we will define our page to redirect, and else we will say echo, and we will echo a error. So inside error we will say define. So we'll have class alert. So alert, I'm sorry, we should have single quote here, alert danger, and we will say incorrect username or password. So we will display this error, else we will redirect our user to home page. So we will also create a new file called index.php, which should be our home page. So inside index.php we will have same header. Just copy this header and paste it here, and we will use body tag here and close the body tag. So inside we will also have div class container, and we will say close the div, and we will say we will have h2 tag, and we will say welcome to login application. So this should be good. And now let's check our system. So let's refresh it, and if I say error dot .com, and let's say random password, if I log in, so this should alert us with the error, and let's use correct email and password, and if I log in, so we are redirected to our home page. So since after we check user, we redirect our user to our home page. If there is no user, it should display error. So lastly, we will define a button to log out. So create one button, and we will give it a class of let's say btn, let's say secondary, btn medium, so we will say logout. Okay, so we will put this button inside a anchor tag. We should have link, so link should lead us to logout.php, and so inside this we will say logout.php. Okay, now so inside the logout.php, so let's save this firstly, and okay, so inside logout.php we will send our user to the to login.php. So we haven't used sessions here, so this is, since this is only a basic application, so we don't want to go with a large development coding. So let's go back to our project. If I refresh it, then you can see we have a logout page button here. So if I press this logout button, then we will I'm sorry, so we have some error here. Let's go back to log out.php. So if I inside our home page, we are redirecting it to the log.php. So it should send us to, so we have forget to give a location here. So let's refresh it, and if I go back to our home page, if I refresh it, and if I click logout, so this is redirecting us to the login page. So thank you guys for watching. This was simple page. I hope you have learned some thing from here. So if you want to develop a full login system, then you can visit my other tutorials. So this was just a simple one, and thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe, hit the like button, and comment if you have any questions, and share it with your friends and other students. So thank you guys for watching, and keep supporting, keep learning. Thank you. Okay, bye bye.